Hello and welcome everyone, welcome to the Guild Wars 2 Jumper Mirage tutorial. My name is Avian Blade in the game, and this build is also known as the JDAM build. So JDAM is an acronym that stands for Jaunt, Deception, Alacrity, and Mirror, and all four of those things are found in the Mirage profession skill sets. Now, the jumper comes from the movie Jumper, which is all about teleportation, and lo and behold, we have a lot of teleportation skills, which I'm going to demonstrate right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 available teleports potentially at a given moment. Obviously the weapon cooldowns are faster than the utility cooldowns, depending on which one, but first thing we'll talk about is our weapon sets. We have staff, axe, and surprise we have offhand sword. Okay. Our utilities we have mirror, illusionary ambush, mirage advance, blink, and then jaunt. Alright. Now for our stats, we're going to use celestial for the armors and the weapons, the backpack and the amulet. But for the other trinkets, we're gonna have 2 marauders for the accessories, 1 berserker for 1 ring, and then 1 assassin for the other ring. The armor set is equipped with superior rune of fireworks for extra for extra power damage, and then boon duration. And then we have the speed, and then the 6 stacks of might, fury, and then vigor for 6 seconds. For the weapon sets, we have superior sigil of severance on axe. Offhand sword is going to have the poison, so the superior sigil of doom. For the staff, we have superior sigil of nullification and superior sigil of concentration. We don't have to worry about the underwater skills for now. This is a no cloak, no signet build. So, what is our advantages and disadvantages? Well, advantages is we have a lot of mobility in this build. Okay? Here we go. Obviously, you're not just going to teleport for no reason. You want to have a good reason to teleport to avoid damage. But I'm just showing you what's available. So our advantage is being able to jump around, switch targets. For example, later on there's a video that I'm going to show you where I'm fighting against a mechanist, and I blind his mech. His mech was doing an up and down attack, and I did my up and down attack with X3 on the mechanist engineer. And then when the mech landed, he missed, but I hit the engineer. Like, that's how you can protect yourself throughout, 1v2, 1v3 tops with this build. 1v4 you're just fighting to survive, and then 1v2 is really where you could showcase the potential of this build. So let's talk about the advantages. So you're a Mirage and you have your staff, axe, sword, right? The advantage is, like I said, you have all your teleports. You are going to make the opponent irritated every now and then, trying to get you. But the disadvantage is this: if you use all your teleports at once, you can't cloak, you have no signets to be tanky, you can't cloak to be invisible. So you basically run out of gas, and hopefully they don't press as much skills to down you, right? Or stomp you. So that's the disadvantage, is that if you don't spread out your teleports in an even manner, that's when they can focus fire you down. But so long as you use them sparingly in the rotation, you can pretty much get away with almost anything. Let's talk about the specializations. So for the build, we have chaos, low options on all 3 columns. We have illusions, high on the first column, mid on the second column, mid on the third column. And for Mirage, we have high in the first 2 columns, and then mid in the third column. So we have a regeneration, which also comes with a 10% condition damage bonus and 10% condition damage reduction from incoming condition damage from the enemy. We have our 250 concentration and expertise bonus points. So concentration for boon duration and expertise for the condition duration that we dish out. So this and this and this are all rolled into one when it's attached to the regeneration that pops when we are hit underneath 75%. Our first option is going to be the Master of Manipulation. Because we have 2 manipulation skills equipped, we want to lower their cooldowns, so we could use them faster. We also have super speed granted to us when we use it for a brief moment. We have staff, and we want to have extra condition damage and then reduce recharge on staff, and when the staff is equipped it has a double bonus. So the first bonus is just for clicking the trait, second bonus is if we swap to the staff. And then we have Bountiful Disillusionment. It gives us boons when we power shatter, or when we shatter in general. So we have the might stacks from the power shatter, we have the longer vigor boon from the cry of frustration, we have the fear boon from the diversion, and we have the regeneration from distortion. And then we have stability for each of those shatters. Because of the stats equipped, we have 1.5 seconds of stability. So we could pop the stability when we need it, when we see an incoming CC, like a projectile or a hard knockback. Now we could just stand in place. If you shatter and then blink away, you could actually get rid of a tether. Alright, moving on. We have illusions, cry of pain, so the confusion shatter is going to have an extra stack. That's why you see the number 2 in the bottom right of the confusion icon. We have the extra stack of shatter for power shatter for mind rack, so for shatter storm. Here's the extra stack. That means we now have 5 available moments to stabilize ourselves, right? Obviously Invul is going to be in F4, but it still gives us the stability. 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. Then we have compounding power. We get extra 2% and then 30 condition damage per illusion summon. So illusion summons include both the clones and phantasms. Maximum of 3 clones up to fill the slot. I'm going to explain that later. And then the phantasms are spawned also for 5. So 2 phantasms and then 3 clones count as 5 for the stack. Maximum 10% bonus power damage and then 150 bonus condition damage when this is up. Phantasma Haste, when we summon a phantasm, will be quicker in attacking, especially when we have Mirage Advance. Let me demonstrate. So we summon a phantasm, Mirage Advance, boom, it's quicker, rather than the longer wait for it to queue. Moving on. We have reduced recharge for the power shatters, for all the shatters. And then we have Master of Fragmentation. So we have extra critical hit for the mind rack, cripple foes and hit for the confusion shatter, diversion multiplied by 5 the number of targets we can daze. So for all of us clones and us the player, so all the clones and you, it's 4 times 5, 20 potential targets can be dazed. Okay, and then distortion reflects the projectiles. So you have another way to reflect other than the mirror heal. You have the projectile heal from the distortion. Mirage, we have the axe availability, and then you could check all the skills of like the ambush attacks. We have self-deception selected, and the way self-deception works is whenever there's a clone up and then you use your deception skill, which is this one, or this one, that new clone is going to replace your previous location. Your previous location was there, that's where your clone is. Your previous location is here, that's where your clone is. Okay. Your previous location is right here. That's where your clone is, okay? That's what Deception does. And then we have the Nomad's Endurance, so we have our short-term Vigor boons, and obviously for Mirage, attached to that boon, for us, we have extra 150 condition damage, and then plus 50% Endurance regeneration. You're gonna think this is a Condi build. It's not a Condi build. There's Condi in the build, but it's not a Condi build, meaning to say it's not relying purely on Condi. Okay. Then we have Reform Mirage Mirror. We're selecting this to make up for the fact we're not using Renewing Oasis or Riddle of Sand. We're not selecting Mirage Mantle or Phantasmal Seeking Axe. So these two are more of the sustained defenses. These two are offenses. This is both sustain and offense because we can evade while we touch the diamond mirror. And if the opponent is nearby and they touch this, they get a weakness condition, and they get damage from the power shatter of the mirror, and then which can crit high, especially when you have high might, fury, and you can see that. Speed of Sand, that's just this, and then we have our 2 conditions removed per evade. Alright, so that's the general overview of the things equipped in this build and the stats. And also, the foods is going to be... Sorry, I meant to do inventory. We're going to use the bowl of Orient truffle and meat stew for the might on evade, and plus 40% extra endurance regeneration. If we don't have our vigor boon, it's going to be 40%. And then we're going to have the gain concentration equal to 3% of your toughness, and gain expertise equal to 3% of your toughness. So that works well together with this trait line, right? And it works together with our fireworks rune because we have the power and boon durations, and for our staff, which has the boon duration and the concentration sigil. Alright, so that's about 10 minutes, 11 minutes for this video. That's just the introduction video to the JDAM Jumper Mirage build. And I'm going to see you guys in the next video to explain how it all works together. And after that, it's going to be videos on actually playing this in the field to fight players. Thank you for your time. This is Avian Blade. I am out. See you next video. Hello and welcome everyone. This is Avian for Guild Wars 2 Jumper Mirage JDAM build tutorial. Here is the demonstration of the combo moves that I do. And we're not just talking about the combos that we get from fields, like for example, we put a storm, we get the compounding bolts combo, or we get the leap combo, you know. Not just those combos, but the combos of how to use this skill together to create surprise attacks, to survive and escape and all that, to get the opportune strike. So we're gonna go ahead and start the engine running, to get the cooldown running. Alright, so we can start off with something that's called the Spiderweb. That's what I call it. So the Spiderwebs, you just surround the opponent, put Chaos Storm on them, and you divert, switch to Axe Sword, and during that moment, they have a lot of confusion on them. I mean, well, 10 stacks of confusion. They're diverted a lot. They have diversions a lot on them. So a daze on them, which means they'll have, you know, they'll be interrupted potentially. You get that spike from the Superior Siege of Severance. You're doing a lot of damage already. And you'll notice we did not use these 3 yet. So if they survive that, you still have teleport skills for a follow-up. So we'll do this again. Let's say they survive that, they're doing a counterattack, boom, we just kite them. We daze them again, we do another opportune strike, boom again, they're chasing us. Let's say they are chasing us, they're coming here, boom, we relocate, and we switch to staff, we start softening them up again. They're about to hit us a lot, so we go ahead, give them a lot of confusion, right? That's examples of options you could do. Oh, they're doing another counterattack, boom, we defend ourselves. This one's an unblockable attack, so we could just blink away, for example, right? Or you want to get that power bonus, boom. You get power bonus, boom. So that's what Jumper Mirage is all about. Now, when you're fighting against a thief, for example, they literally just, you hear that, whoop, and then they're on you. You just press that button right there while you're on staff. If you were on Axe Sword and they jump on you, and you get CC'd, what you do is this. You blink away if you already get CC'd. Why? You're already stunned. Any follow-up, you're already going to have the momentum growing on you. So, let's say a thief is on us. Let's say we were stunned. Boom. After that, you jump right back on them and you do F3. And then you do this. Okay? You want to do that to set up a clone already to have at least 1 more second of distortion as a follow-up. Sometimes while they're invisible, they're going to shoot you with a pistol if they have pistol equipped. You're going to see that pistol coming. Worst case scenario, if the thief is invisible and they're about to shoot you with a projectile, stand inside your clone. The moment you see or hear the projectile, you basically move in the other side of the projectile, right? So that would be an example, moving on the other side of the projectile while the thief was invisible. Or let's say you don't have any cover, or no cover. Obviously you're not gonna have cloak, but you run out of teleports to kind of save yourself. You just stand inside your clone, because let's say a thief is about to teleport on you, but let's say I'm the thief, that's you. Sorry, hold on, that's not a good demonstration. Let's say the thief is over here, and you're kind of behind the clone. They're trying to get to you. This thief is actually where they're going to land. It actually has happened. So that's something to take advantage of. But this build is no longer against thieves. It's not going to always beat them, but it's going to give them a super hard challenge, which makes it possible for you to defeat them. Okay, and it's on you to use it well to defeat them. A better player, a Mirage that's a better player than me, can actually take this build and work it better than the way I'm doing it right now. I'm not the best player, obviously. I'm not saying I'm pro. Okay, I'm not. But this build really helps you improve playing Mirage, because you're not relying on Cloak or Signets, or obviously our second evade was taken away. But it really helps you have a faster reaction time, so that when you go back to the other build that works better for you, the skill set that you learn from having faster reactions, watching animations, it makes you play your build better. Right? I'm serious. Alright, so we talked about the Spiderweb and how that would work. This is called the Crippling Days. So we have Acts 2, Blink, Diversion. Crippling Days with a blink. This is useful in a 1v1. Obviously you don't want to do this in a 2v2 when you know they have a lot of CCs. So in a 1v1 this is very useful when you know they were going to try to surprise attack you, but you did it to them. Okay, I pressed the wrong button, don't do that. The follow up here is to do that and not move. You just target broke, stand still for a bit. Okay, we're gonna do the Crippling Days again. Let's get the engine running to get the quick. Alright, we're gonna Cripple Days this Moa. Let me just kite it for a bit. There we go. We don't have to worry about damage because we're in an invul spot. There we go, Crippling Days. Okay. So what does a Crippling Days do? It not only cripples and dazes, but it gives the illusion that you have a skill that jumps on the opponent just like that. It's like, no, you're actually using 3 skills at once. So you have the diversion, right? You have the Axe 2, you have the diversion, and maybe the blink. You could do a similar Crippling Days or Crippling Power Shatter or Crippling Confusion. So here's the Crippling Power Shatter. Okay, that's the Crippling Power Shatter because we use the Mind Wrap. Here's the Crippling Confusion. Crippling Confusion, right? I'm naming it based on what I use. See? You could confuse them. You're like, oh no, which one is me? I have a about face on my middle key. I'm sorry, middle mouse wheel, so I could look like a clone at times. It really helps. And if you're close to the enemy and you do this, they're gonna think you're a clone, because a clone does that. A clone sometimes will do this when they're near the opponent. So that was the Crippling Days. And then we had the Spiderweb. I'm gonna show you how to disengage a fight that you know you can't win. And it's not done by cloaking because we don't have cloak. We run out of all other options and we want to run away. You just do this. Wait for them. Wait for this. Watch. Go back. Let's right click away. Boom. Why did I say right click away? You right click, you look away. You don't left click, because if you left click and then you, let's say you accidentally auto attack this direction, sometimes it might retarget an opponent. So you right click to lock that that's the target even though you face this way. See that? You right click on it and then you can phase retreat away from it. That plus blink is, so 450 plus blink 1200. So you basically can move away 1650. How do I know the phase retreat is 450? Okay, so the range of your reach with jaunt is 450, right? So that means, so behind me, This is 450, right? So we're gonna stand right here. Here's 450. So this area right here. Okay? Remember this spot right here. There we go. The range is 450 for the phase retreat. Plus the blink. 1650. You can guarantee getting out of reach of a ranger unless they speed towards you. Alright. Moving on. Chaos Storm on us. Get some swiftness on us. Let's say we can't use the War Claw because we're in a fight. We didn't get the chance. So we got the blocks and the resolution, which is fine. We'll be more tanky. But yeah, those are some of the combo moves. Now, how do we fight against multiple opponents? Let's just do 1v2 with NPCs. Just to show you what it's like to actually jump around. When you're a beginner at this build, you want to follow a rule of not using your teleports too quickly. Because while it looks flashy, after all your teleports are exhausted because you used them too fast, you're basically that much closer to dying quickly. So, you just want to gauge the opponent. You know, you can do a 4-second rule, but make sure you use it with a reason. There's a teleport. There's a teleport. Okay, they need to find you, but they can't, so there's no need to. Then now they found you, but they're almost going to die. So, if you have the condies up, just let it do its job. Okay. Here's a trick. Sometimes you want to pretend you're running away. You actually see them coming. You see an attack that's about to land. You counterattack like that.
That feels good.
Then you want to X2 sometimes and secure it with the diversion shatter. Right? And then you could combine a jaunt with a shatter to make it powerful. But notice these are all like, you know, like moderately low damages because our might isn't up. So the way it all comes together is when you start off with staff, you don't really want to start off with staff all the time, but to start off this build, you can start off with staff as a good option. You'll know sometimes like, oh, maybe I should start off with axe sword because you can get on me if I just block for the repost, right? Alright, so we start off with staff, we're booting ourselves, and remember the closer you get, the more stacks on them and on you. Reposition, diversion shatter. Maybe you could switch to axe sword if you want to get that poison on them. You see how we have a lot of defensives available so we could withstand being close to them. We have just enough DPS to capitalize with the Severance interruption bonuses. We're also still tanky enough to have margins for error when you're learning this build. But this is also what you want to be useful in a team fight and to be, you know, to not just, because if you go full Celestial, then you're basically just fighting to survive every time. But because you're peaking a little bit in some damage, especially with power, you see the runes for the power that's in here, the precision that's here, and then the ferocity here also. With the severance, with the might stacks from here, right, and the fury boons, you now have opportunities to go ahead and go for the killing blow, the downs, and the stomps. Now for this build, where you want to fight, right here is not where you want to fight, but right here, this area right here is where you want to fight. Why? Jumpable ledges, right? Where, like, let's say there's a PP ranger coming at you, you could just stand behind this for cover, you know. This is too thin, but it's still possible to get cover, but you don't want to risk it. So, let's say you're caught in the open, and you're not in a good fight. Well, if it's a 1v1, you can deal with going to open. But if it's a 1v2, depends on the classes. But you still want to find areas that have ledges. Thick trees, not the skinny trees, but the thick trees. This corner area right here is very good. Here's a walkable path. So even though you don't see the opponent, I mean you see them with your third person perspective, but your character can't, but the opponent is up here, you can actually shadow step to them. But the line of sight teleports require, you have to see the edge. But that tree right there, we can't blink to it. I promise you, if there's an opponent right here and you're right here, you can shadow step to it. Okay. We'll actually demonstrate that. Let's get that stag right here. Have them come really close. There it is. Moving on. So that's basically, you know, a glimpse of the combos. You'll see other combos that I do in a fight when I go around. I'm actually going to go ahead and start up the video that looks for players to fight. I won't comment on it until after the video. I'll just focus on the fighting and combat to show you what this build does. See you guys in the next video.